opinion you guys might all share that has led to these swatting things, but do you have any idea who these guys are, Nick?
You know, I'll tell you what, Will. I am. There's only so much that I'm going to say right now because right before I did the show, just minutes before, I got another phone call from the FBI, who is very, very. I mean, Dan Bongino was not just tweeting. Cash is not just talking and saying that he's going to do something. They're already getting results. They're already putting things together that would lead us to believe that this is being done by the same group. They have the same hallmarks. They have found connections already that they believe that they're going to be able to use to prosecute these people. And,
right.
You know, I knew of swatting incidents that happened under the Biden administration, and nobody heard a word from the FBI. I don't know if it was because they were too busy going after J6 grandmas and people that were speaking up at school board meetings, but now they're serious. This is an all-of-government response, and they deserve a hell of a lot of credit for that.
And Nick, to be clear, so you're telling me and all of us that you spoke to members of the FBI fairly recently before coming on air, and I can see Dustin nodding his head along as well, and they're telling you they have a lead on this, and are these incidences connected? Is there one group or one group of people behind all of your situations?
They are under the impression that at least several of these are linked. And that's as far as they're going to say at this moment. But typically, when you have a swatting incident, they basically, it seems like the local police will take a report and then they'll just, you know, file it away. And they're going to make an example out of these people. They're hell-bent on making it happen, and they're going to make sure that this crap stops here.
Joe, I can see you jumping in and saying, yeah, it sounds like you've had similar conversations about the investigation into these swats.
Well, Will, first of all, thank you for shining a light on this. It's so important to make sure that we keep it in the headlines and keep the spotlight on it, because this isn't okay. As the previous panelist said, this is attempted murder. I believe it's domestic terrorism as well. And I think that Cash and Dan will probably uplift it to that. Maybe Pam Bondi will uplift it to that. I since we last spoke last week, have had the FBI at the house, have had the county sheriff deputy at the detective at the house, and they say what Nick says. There are leads. They feel very good that they're all connected. The MO is the same. I'm hiding in a closet. I'm hiding in the bathroom. I've been stabbed. I'm bleeding out. They shot and killed my dogs. My children are in the other room. Please come through the door now. And what they want, Will, is to come through the door at 2:30 in the morning or 3:30 in the morning and start shooting somebody they see as out of the ordinary. That would have been me walking around my house. I would have been dead in my doorway. So, yes, it appears as though they're all connected. The MO appears to be almost exactly the same. The good thing is they're stupid. They didn't know the dimensions of my house, how many cars were in the driveway. They didn't know the gate code. So there were signals early on that they weren't really there. Right. But when you've got 7 deputies, you know, training an AR-15 at you, it's pretty scary at 2:21 a.m.
I'm down to a minute. I'd love to just go around the horn really quickly. We'll start with Joe. Joe, how close, and we spoke, so you told me your situation. How close do you think it was? Like, as they approached the house, how close were you to danger?
Had I walked up to the front door, I would have been shot in my doorway. I think I was that close.
How about you, Nick? How close do you think this was to real life-threatening danger?
Well, here's the problem here. My dad was the one that was targeted. He's just a working class guy. He didn't even know what swatting was. And so we're talking about in the middle of the night, they're trying to kick down his door. If he would have had a firearm on him, he would have shot at them. They would have shot back and killed him.
And I think, Nick, you're not the only one who was a family member instead of you directly. Larry, how close was the situation for you?
It was very close because I could see them before they saw me, thanks to my dog, and I was armed. And in one of the videos, you can see them testing the door, trying to come through. I could not see uniforms. I'm ready to open fire.
Right. And Dustin, we're seeing some of your video on your screen. How close did it feel for you?
And thankfully, we are a special circumstance. Law enforcement already had our phone numbers on hand. We already knew the officers who were literally surrounding our home. But I just got to say, guys, how we're definitely over the target for a reason. It's because of X. It's because of our platforms that we've been able to push. How many of us had our specific issues that honestly influenced this entire election, whether it was me with Tim Walz or Larry with the World Economic Forum, whatever our issue was, something made an impact. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we got to keep pushing and pushing our message, even with all of this, and we know we're over the target.
It would be interesting to figure out which issue is common to all of you that is the one that set them off. It would be interesting to see which opinion is the one that really sicked this whole swatting situation on all of you. Nick, Joe, Larry, and Dustin, thanks for sharing your story with us today here on The Will Cain Show. All right, President Trump getting an all-star welcome at the NCAA Wrestling Championships this weekend. Outkick founder Clay Travis had a first-class seat with the president on the way there, and he tells us about his conversation with President Donald Trump.
I like your soul, baby. You got that heart made of gold, baby. I'm gonna love you till I'm old, baby.
Profiting from the financial markets has never been easier. TrueTrade introduces the world's first one-click AI-assisted trading platform. No trading experience? No problem. Just purchase their platform, connect your trading account, download their mobile app, and turn it on. It's that simple. No need to worry about what or when to trade. With just one click, their AI software handles everything for you. No learning, no experience, no headaches. Up or down, bull or bear, TrueTrade's AI software identifies high-potential trades with pinpoint accuracy, whether you're trading a single account or managing an entire portfolio. TrueTrade software runs on autopilot with its AI risk management protecting your downside. Don't have the funds to trade with? No problem. TrueTrade offers an unprecedented money-back guarantee on their software, plus a guarantee of at least $300,000 in tradable funds. You keep the profits. Join thousands worldwide who are already profiting from their AI-driven trading technology. Are you ready to step up your cash flow? Head over to TrueTrade.io. That's TruTrade.io. That's TruTrade.io. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Past performance does not guarantee future results. See terms and conditions.
Look, there's feelings, and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is, you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. And that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/Fox News. Ramp.com/Fox News. That's RAMP.com/Fox News.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Could advanced stem cell therapy give you hope for a better, longer life? At Bespoke Biologics, we believe you deserve access to this groundbreaking, innovative medical solution. Stem cells are some of the most powerful cells in the body, and research is moving at warp speed and harnessing their power. At Bespoke Biologics, we speak with people every day all over America about new answers for heart disease, heart attacks, stroke, in addition to conditions like MS, rheumatoid arthritis, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or maybe you just want to slow down the aging process or strengthen your immune system. The medical professionals at Bespoke Biologics have over 15 years experience. They're up to speed on all of the latest medical research, and they have access to an exclusive and proprietary line of stem cells. If you're ready to explore or just learn more about this exciting medical option, go to BespokeStemCell.com. BespokeStemCell.com. Schedule your introductory call and get ready to transform everything you thought was possible. BespokeStemCell.com. BespokeStemCell.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA.
Did you know that your largest investment asset might not be your retirement account or home? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. Most people don't realize that their life insurance policy is actually an asset they can sell. But for almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. We've even created a free policy value calculator at abacuspays.com so you can find out in seconds what we might pay for your policy. There are no fees and no obligations, just information. Knowing the value of your life insurance policy is as important as knowing the value of your home, your equity portfolio, or your finances in total. Discover the valuable information you need to understand the current market value for your life insurance, and then get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Visit abacuspays.com to learn more and use our free policy value calculator today.
Okay, business leaders, are you playing defense or are you on the offense? Are you just, excuse me, hey, I'm trying to talk business here. As I was saying, are you here just to play or are you playing to win? If you're in it to win, meet your next MVP. NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is your full business management system in one suite. With NetSuite, you're running your accounting, your financials, HR, e-commerce, and more, all from your online dashboard. One source of truth means every department's working from the same numbers with no data delays. And with AI embedded throughout, you're automating manual tasks, plus getting fast insights for your next move. Whether you're competing on your home turf or looking to conquer international markets, NetSuite helps you get the W. Over 40,000 businesses have already made the move to NetSuite, the #1 cloud ERP.
Right now, get the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Fox News. Get this free guide at netsuite.com/Fox News.
Okay, guys.
The President of the United States, Donald Trump, in attendance tonight at the Wells Fargo Center.
President Trump greeted with the sound of cheers and USA chants on Saturday as he arrived for the NCAA Men's Wrestling Championship in Philadelphia. But before his raucous welcome, the president sat down with Outkick's Clay Travis on Air Force One to discuss the status of his second term.
NFL players, John Jones at the UFC, I know he brought the belt over. Christian Pulisic, great soccer player. They all do the dance that you made famous.
Football players
everywhere. College, it's everywhere. What does that reflect about the culture changing in the time that you've been president? Does it feel different to you?
We had a great opening month. We had a great second month. You know, now it's 2 months already, and the second month was equally as good to the first. And I'd like to see if we could stop the soldiers being killed, even though they're not American soldiers. Although it could, you know, a thing like that could lead to World War III, you know, in fairness. But I think it's somewhat under control. I had a good relationship with President Bush and actually a good relationship with President Zelensky. It'd be a great thing to be able to stop it. And I will say this, nobody else would have been able to.
And Outkick founder and co-host of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show joins me now. Pretty cool experience there, Clay. Rode on Air Force One to the NCAA Wrestling Championships with the President of the United States.
Yeah, Will, thanks for having me, and obviously thanks to Caroline Levitt for putting the new media seat in place, which I do think is going to be helpful in the president being able to get his message out there. But I think it's clear that we have seen a major culture shift, and you heard the president and I talking about it there. I mean, Will, think about it. Super Bowl. They booed Santa Claus, Eagle fans did. They cheered Donald Trump in New Orleans. At the Daytona 500, he was on the beast driving around the track. Went crazy, that crowd, NASCAR did. And now, as you see on the screen, I got to tell you, I was sitting right there on the front row with the president. If you keep the tape running, they put a green face on me. Like, I don't know, it wasn't a good spot with the angle there. But I shook his hand. It was an electric environment as everybody is coming undone as he walks out in there. And I think this is reflective of, there I am right there. I think this is reflective of the overall sports fan in America. Men in particular, but also a lot of women, being aligned with Donald Trump for what I believe is a common sense revolution that he's leading right now.
And it wasn't just the crowd. We saw the incredible matches, many of the champions, the winners coming over to shake hands with President Trump. You know, the Air Force, huge upset at the end, the Air Force cadet veteran, I believe, signaling the president and coming over and shaking his hand as well. I mean, there was just a lot of interaction between the participants, the crowd, and Donald Trump.
Yeah, Wyatt Hendrickson's win was phenomenal, but what I stood out, and I didn't see it get covered a tremendous amount, but you can see it there, the interaction that Trump had. Every single champion wrestler that I saw, Will, came over and shook the president's hand after they received their medals, their commendations, wanted a picture taken with him. Some of them even had him autograph their NCAA championships. The data coming out, 18-year-old men are more likely than 75-year-old men to be voting for Donald Trump in the 2024 election. I think that's why you're seeing a panic from the Democrat side of the equation, because the culture shift is real, and Trump has a real connection with younger male voters, but also a lot of younger female voters who are just tired of being told America's a bad place. They agree with him. It's an amazing place. Let's make it better.
I want to go back to the plane ride for a minute, Clay. You did get to have a sit-down interview with Donald Trump while you guys were together on Air Force One. And,
Yes.
and I'm glad you asked him this, but you asked him about JFK. You asked him, what are you supposed to take at the end of an 80,000-page release? Who killed John F. Kennedy? Here's what he had to say.
Do you think Oswald killed JFK personally?
I do, and I've always held that.
Yeah.
Of course, was he helped? I think the papers have turned out to be somewhat unspectacular.
Yeah, I think that's true.
All right, and maybe that's a good thing.
You know what I noticed about that answer, Clay? And you can really see it in the transcription. He says, I've always thought it was Lee Harvey Oswald, but he was, and then he stops himself and goes, was he helped? And turns it into a question, you know? I mean, he's definitely headed down the path of telling you Lee Harvey Oswald was helped. The question then being by who?
Yeah, look, and the reality is, Will, we are so lucky as an American country today that 1/4 inch that bullet passed and clipped President Trump's ear, because otherwise 100 years from now, people would still be saying, yeah, I don't think that one random guy in Butler, Pennsylvania acted alone. We don't like the idea that any one person relatively inconsequential like Lee Harvey Oswald or that crazy man in Pennsylvania, I don't even remember his name anymore, thankfully, but he would have become infamous if he had not missed that shot. And President Trump said in response to that he now trusts the FBI. I think the fact that he's got Kash Patel in charge is super important. But he's built different, Will. The day after he got clipped in the ear, I was talking to some of his friends at Bedminster on Saturday. He was out chipping golf balls. I asked him about in the interview. He said, well, what else are you going to do? The fact that he's doing these public events, we walked into that arena, that he doesn't have any PTSD after someone twice tried to kill him, I think is just a testament to why he connects so well with young men.
And you see it once again at the NCAA Wrestling Championships, as you've seen it in event after event. You can hear that whole interview, by the way. It's at the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show. Clay, thanks for jumping on with us today and telling us about your experience there with the president.
It was awesome. Thanks to everybody who I got to meet with, and it was an incredible experience.
All right, take care, Clay. All right, thanks for being with us today, where we get to the heart of the matter from the heart of America. It's now time for the 5.
Hello, everyone. I'm Judge Janine Pirro, along with Jessica Tarloff, Jesse Waters, Dana Perino, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is the 5. The Democrat disaster gets even worse, and the Now Party is looking for uber-progressive AOC to save them. Dems are in the deepest hole in nearly 50 years, and this may not be rock bottom. The party has its lowest favorability ever. Young voters are flocking to the right. Americans are fleeing blue states in droves, and they have no national leader. Don't believe me? Watch for yourself.
Are you feeling pressure to step down?
Look, I'm not stepping down.
The American people are fed up with the old guard. There needs to be a renewal.
This looks like game over, you know, and the reason why people are voting with their feet is a lot of what your book is about.
Yeah,
taxes and regulation.
You know what the problem is with the left? They seem too lame. They do. They got it. It's true. It needs a revamping.
Meanwhile, Bernie is touring the country trashing Trump, Elon, and the oligarchs. The socialist blowhard doesn't want to answer the tough questions plaguing his party.
Would you like to see her join in the Senate?
Right now, we have, as I said, just a whole lot of people in the Congress. Okay, Jonathan, thanks.
Wait, I got one more. This is important.
No, I asked you.
Okay.
You know, you want to do nonsense, do nonsense.
No.
I don't want to talk about inside the Beltway stuff. I got 32,000 people.
I was just asking you about AOC because she was out there with you.
No, fine, but I don't want to talk about this. What was the last question?
I was just going to ask you one more question about you. I mean, that's all. I was literally your last.
What is your question?
Well, I mean, it's easier to
But is there a far-left light at the end of the tunnel? The New York Times is hyping up AOC as the 2028 answer to all of the Democrats' problems. All right, Jessica, there's no question that the party has its lowest favorability in at least half a century. It means they have virtually no credibility. You really have to work hard to get here, don't you?
We're exhausted from working this hard. It's bad. Of course it's bad. We just lost an election. We have to rebuild. We have to figure it out. I think that people are flocking to AOC and Bernie because they are capturing the spirit of the moment, which is where you need to be real opposition. You need to have backbone. You can't be spineless about these things. There was an interesting exchange online where John Fetterman went after AOC, and then Connor Lamb, who lost to Fetterman in the primary for that Senate seat, was a conservative Democratic congressman, and Tim Ryan came to AOC's defense over Fetterman because they understand that she is meeting the moment. But all hope is not lost. Healthcare is going to be an incredibly important part of the discourse. Democrats still lead on who's best to handle that. And I'm increasingly thinking that James Carville was right in saying that we should take a bit of a breather and run out the clock a bit here and watch what happens. So Donald Trump's ratings on handling the economy, inflation, cost of living are all tanking. And we're seeing this administration's incompetence and recklessness on a scale unimaginable. I'm sure you guys saw this incredible Jeffrey Goldberg piece from right before we got on air a couple years ago about Goldberg, who is a journalist at The Atlantic, being invited into a private Signal chat with all of our national security heads. So Rubio, Hegseth, Waltz, Tulsi Gabbard, Scott Bessent's in there, et cetera. And they are planning on just Signal to drop bombs in Yemen. So they're not doing this in a skiff. They're doing it on an app that you and I, we all have on our phones. And it's obviously incredibly reckless, national security risks. I don't want to ever hear butthurt emails again. I don't know what's going to happen to anyone who's involved in something like this. But on top of it, you have the vice president. He's in there as well, contradicting Donald Trump on his policy on Europe. So all of this is going on. We're only a couple months into this administration. And when Carville says, let's see what they do, you get stuff like this.
Makes you happy.
No,
okay.
No, but it
Jesse.
does confirm when people said that folks were getting these jobs that didn't deserve them, that's probably the case. And
They
I'm
make a
sure
mistake. They make a mistake
This is
and
a
you're happy.
mistake.
Just admit you're happy.
I'm not. No,
Okay,
I'm
can
actually.
I get Jesse here?
Yeah.
All right,
Greg
Jesse,
started.
you know what? Some of the Dems say that they're fed up with the old guard, but isn't the failure of the party about the progressives, which are ostensibly the younger group? And, you know, are they blaming, who are they blaming
Let's
now?
not let them think the progressives are the problem. Let's let them run AOC. They're 0-2 running women, so I think just roll the dice again, run AOC, and let the chips fall. It is funny how the old guard tries to keep the young generation down. It's creating this little bottleneck. It's fun to watch. We had that problem. We don't have that anymore. We have a whole new, fresh crew of young bloods running around. And yeah, they accidentally leaked something to the media instead of the Democrats actually leaking classified information to the media, Jessica.
No.
All right? At least they didn't homebrew a server and acid wash it. But her emails, I just did it. A famous
Mar-a-Lago
Greek...
toilets,
a
and they
famous...
invited him in.
Mar-a-Lago toilets?
Yeah,
What are you talking
where
about?
the national security secrets that were
This is a
subpoenaed.
family show, Jessica.
Yeah.
Clean it up.
Can we just stick with
All
the
right?
topic today?
A famous Greek philosopher, Jessica, Heraclitus, or Clitus, I don't know. I hope it's not the last one.
Watch your mouth.
It's definitely not Heraclitus.
Said change is the only constant in life. And Democrats forgot that axiom because they thought they'd always have the youth vote. They thought that the non-white vote would keep Democrats in power forever, but they were both wrong. But they have longer-term structural problems. All of these people are leaving blue states and moving to red states, and you guys are losing electoral votes. So the next election, you could win the entire Rust Belt and then not hit 270. Because you didn't think the people had the agency and the initiative to leave your horrible dens of corruption and incompetence and go to a place with greener pastures or redder pastures. You've lost the culture, you've lost your credibility, and you've lost your two pillars of propaganda, Twitter and the media. So right now you're in a civil war. The normie wing of Fetterman and Rahm want to do things right. And then you have AOC and Bernie. And I see three scenarios, Jessica. I see you guys running a progressive and having that person get demolished and the normies say, see, I told you so. Or you run a normie and the progressives boycott it and then they lose again. Or an independent pops up. and he basically fractures the party like Perot did to the Republicans, and you lose again. All of these are losing scenarios that I just laid out. Do you have a winning scenario?
Let's go to Dana. Dana, now you've got Bernie Sanders and AOC, and they're getting some big crowds. And Bernie Sanders is now admitting that, you know, the Democratic Party was wrong about the border and that Trump was right about cracking down on the border. But AOC doesn't agree with that. She's totally opposite. I mean, so as a team, they're not really on the same side.
I think that their crowds, it is impressive. Like if you have the fact that the Democrats are basically in the doldrums and circling the drain, and then you get, 20,000 people to show up at an event. But I think that they could have done that anyway, because Bernie Sanders has had a constituency for a long time. It's sort of like Ron Paul has a constituency. Like, people love him. There are people who love Bernie Sanders. And AOC is smart, and she's opportunistic. And she says, I can help. And Bernie is smart because he knows I'm 83 years old. I need somebody to come out here and help me with these crowds. And she can whip up a crowd. The problem is they're not building any numbers. They're just replowing the same old ground. She said over the weekend, we need someone who will fight harder for us, not fight smarter. And that's one of their big problems. They have already lost the working class to MAGA. Mm-hmm. So they're sitting there saying, the rich people are awful, and MAGA saying, yeah, we agree, the rich people are terrible. But their big constituency is college-educated women. And now they have them, but the youth vote is so interesting. This new report that David Shore did said that that is the thing that is the most alarming to him. And it's almost like the reverse of what happened in the 60s. Or I would say 60s. And so we're living through this political realignment. And I would also add just one other thing. There's all the sorts of things that happen, the COVID closures in the Biden administration, but the obsession from Obama through Biden on climate change, in which they used a lot of taxpayer dollars in order to fund some crazy stuff that is going to have lasting implications. Not only was there corruption and fraud, Stacey Abrams getting $2 billion, for example, but also if you live in New Jersey, for example, you are about to have to swallow a huge increase in your electricity rates. Why? Because that state government, under Phil Murphy, has pushed through something even more onerous than even the ones that are here in New York City. So all of these things are continuing to remind people who have an affordability problem that the Democrats don't stand for them.
You know, Greg, it took 4 years for the Democrat Party to pretty much throw Joe Biden over the edge. Now it appears that within 3 months, they're ready to throw Schumer over the edge. I mean, did they learn their lesson, or are they just lost at sea?
I think the big lesson here is that young voters are flocking to the right. And all I could say is, you're welcome, America. Kids can't get enough of America's bad boy. Dems are like zombies. Don't kid yourself. They always come back. They always turn into, though, something else. Political correctness, if that was ice cream, wokeism is gelato. They come back more intense, more concentrated, which raises the question, how should our reaction be when, and it's a when, not an if, the Democrats return? Will they be worse or will they be better? Better, let's say they return to the middle and they disown identity crisis, identity politics, which has turned their party toxic and helped destroy this country, nearly destroy it. If they disown that, we should support it. And we should say, you know, a strong and healthy competitive party makes us better, too. It helps us focus our ideas. But if wokeism returns as something else, and the Dems love to change the names of things, pronouns, abortion, buildings, Marxist ideas, it will come back under a different name. Then you have to ridicule it, you have to destroy it. And the Republican Party has to become, yet again, a sanctuary city for Democrats who are leaving, which are like half the people in Trump's cabinet, including Trump himself. The problem that Democrats have, and they're seeing it now, is it happened at ESPN, CNN, and MSNBC. When the competent flee, the incompetent, who no one will hire and no one wants, stays behind. And that concentrates itself further because they can't really go anywhere. So they triple down on their own ideas, their own sunk costs. So the woke gets woker, the aggrieved gets more unhinged. They become what's left. Pretty much you have an unsalvageable party. So I don't think the Dems quite understand the problem that they are in. Identity politics has segregated their party from human connection, so that everybody's competing for victimhood, and the rest of us are like, we don't want to have anything to do with it. We see the problem. It's inside their party. Can their party see that? They've missed all the big stuff. They missed Biden. They missed COVID. They missed the laptop. I think they might be missing the tumor that's inside their party, and it's malignant.
The tumor.
The tumor.
It's a tumor.
It's metastasizing.
Yes.
All right, Trump rocks the wrestling championships.
And if the whole wide world stops singing and all the stars go dark.
After 7 years away,
It started with a choice, a friendship, and some acoustic instruments.
Mumford & Sons return with a new album
Rushmere.
and return to their roots.
It felt like when we were starting out.
Hear the story behind Rushmere, their complete catalog and rarities, and songs they handpicked for you.
On our very own channel, Mumford & Sons Radio.
For a limited time, starting tomorrow, Channel 79 and at home with the SiriusXM app.
Profiting from the financial markets has never been easier. TrueTrade introduces the world's first one-click AI-assisted trading platform. No trading experience? No problem. Just purchase their platform, connect your trading account, download their mobile app, and turn it on. It's that simple. No need to worry about what or when to trade. With just one click, their AI software handles everything for you. No learning, no experience, no headaches. Up or down, bull or bear, TrueTrade's AI software identifies high-potential trades with pinpoint accuracy. Whether you're trading a single account or managing an entire portfolio, TrueTrade software runs on autopilot with its AI risk management protecting your downside. Don't have the funds to trade with? No problem. TrueTrade offers an unprecedented money-back guarantee on their software, plus a guarantee of at least $300,000 in tradable funds. You keep the profits. Join thousands worldwide who are already profiting from their AI-driven trading technology. Are you ready to step up your cash flow? Head over to TrueTrade.io. That's TruTrade.io. That's TruTrade.io. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Past performance does not guarantee future results. See terms and conditions.
Prescription products require completion of an online consultation with an independent healthcare provider and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Additional restrictions apply. See website for more details and safety information.
Is Cialis Daily really better than Viagra?
If you like spontaneity, the answer is yes. So when the mood strikes, you're ready to go.
I felt like a young man again. My wife is definitely much happier.
When you take it, you're ready to go. Does Cialis Daily last longer than Viagra?
Guys are raving that their results last even longer.
My partner thinks that I am a rock star.
Because it is effective, I say I'm on a second honeymoon.
It's literally life-changing.
Are 30-day sample packs available?
You can now access a 30-day sample pack at TryRexMD.com with generics if appropriate. Online approval at TryRexMD.com is simple, with medication delivered direct to your door. There's no copay, no doctor office visit, and your shipping is always free. Visit TryRexMD.com to get your sample pack. That's TryRexMD.com.
Business owners, have you ever considered cashing out and selling your company? If so, it could be worth a lot more than you think. If your business has annual revenues of $10 million to $250 million or more, you need to call the experts at Carnegie Point. With over 20 years of experience, we specialize in helping business owners like you navigate the process of selling your company smoothly, confidentially, and for the best possible price. Did you know that depending on your industry, you can potentially sell for 6 to over 10 times your annual net earnings, with our average sale price being between $20 to over $200 million? We know that selling your business can be a big decision. That's why we take the time to understand your goals and guide you through every step of the process. Call Carnegie Point for your free company financial analysis and our expert opinion on what your business is worth. Call 800-945-6440. That's 800-945-6440. Or visit CarnegiePoint.com.
Some say Odoo Business Management Software is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. Some say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk, scaling with you while being magically affordable. And some say Odoo's programs for manufacturing, accounting, and more are like building blocks for creating a custom software suite. But I say Odoo is all of it. Fertilizer, magic, beanstalk building blocks for business. Yeah, Odoo. Exactly what every business needs. Sign up at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
You're listening to Fox News Channel on SiriusXM Channel 114.
A standing ovation for a man who is saving the nation, Jessica. The MAGA movement continues to transcend politics, with Trump receiving a raucous welcome at the College Wrestling Championship. Yep, the GOP wrestlers digging Trump being in attendance.
The place went absolutely nuts. President Trump came walking in. They're chanting USA, USA, USA.
The president just walking in the arena, the whole place went crazy because wrestling people are working class, middle class people. They love the president. They love his athlete's mindset, his winning attitude. So he got a great reception.
But the biggest moment came from Captain America. Wyatt Hendrickson, a second lieutenant in the U.S. Air Force, saluting Trump after winning the national championship in a historic upset.
I truly felt like it was me and my team against the world, because situations like that don't turn out where, David takes down Goliath. And, I just think me and my team, we had faith, and I went out there and executed the plan and won a national title. When we talk about the final boss, like, that is my boss of my boss of my boss. So, having him be there and support the great sport of wrestling and be able to watch me, have a historic moment like that, I mean, that's something I'll remember for the rest of my life. I've always been super patriotic, and I have a heart to serve.
Jesse, Trump seems to go where the good stuff is,